Ohe, iktufaj atum, un shere en fresh coca bueno johanaj, wa uneya, dunyo runda pigino. Ik biaij wa dumana, me jari dum ika, tarango nidro, uzaze mede bobo fun, reweja batai duaweno ido. Bashnemaka, bonbundo de Esperanto, zabatai de onma, bueno, dumwa kelkebo, ma pro jo ik yijuj ito? Pro jo ik babaj, ke huiparaj ika wekto dum, ingeniorij, bueno kade dwoa ji, probij ug shibaj Esperanto, projo ug zeranuj tsa on Yeshua tobaj, fun gongjing ifiki, ito, jo pri ik chanjaz, a ika enkaitinta weno wa angla. In the late 1800s, colonization was in full swing. Monarchies ruled the world, and Europe was split apart by wars that wouldn't end until 1944 with the death of Adolf Hitler. L.L. Zamenhof was a physician who invented his language believing that it would bring peace if peoples of Europe were to speak together in one language. He believed them to be divided by many languages that split them into us versus them mindsets. He built his language from the 6 great powers of Europe at the time: French, English, German, Spanish, Italian, and Russian. Esperanto was his pseudonym that meant one who hopes. People studied and learned his engineered language, but when they tried to get the newly formed United Nations to accept it as the lingua franca of the world, it was rejected because it was too Eurocentric. With the collapse of colonialism, the rest of the world wanted representation, and that should be understandable. However, with the rise of Hollywood and America as the biggest superpower, then the internet and of course science, English has become the de facto lingua franca in the world. Chinese is now giving English a run for its money, and they may fight for supremacy through the next century. Either way, anyone who is not a native speaker of these languages loses. Both of these languages are extremely hard to learn for a non-native, yet they hold the gates to learning about new science and technology and getting a good job. This is especially detrimental on native languages and endangered languages, as learning English or Mandarin are so essential and so difficult that they may as well give up their old language and let it die because it's so little use to them. 6,000 languages exist on the planet, and several die each year since a more widely spoken one gives such greater financial benefits, but their culture is shredded. This new language, Terwen, which is Latin for earth, ter, and Chinese for language or tongue, wen, is a natural language that has been artificially selected by myself from the rest of the languages on the planet, or at least the ones on Google Translate. It should be an extremely easy language to learn with difficult to pronounce sounds eliminated to prevent bias, allowing an open platform for people of all languages to speak with the same handicap in learning the language, and it will hopefully protect endangered languages. The language is far from complete, however. I took the Edo Dictionary from 1929 and took its 10,000 words and converted it to a new language. The English dictionary has way more than that. It will need at least 10 times that many words and a thesaurus to be considered a real language, based probably on English, French, and Chinese vocabularies, as they were the most expansive and picked up the most word variations from different countries, as well as a selection of words from other languages that are great descriptors, a great example being schadenfreude. This project will need a web designer, something I am not, to create a forum for each word. It will need trained linguists to check and correct my many mistakes and ensure none of my words are offensive, and I will need the average person to find words they think should be in the language to replace current words. These people's names will remain in the dictionary for their contribution. I can only imagine where this could go. It could take 6 months to 10 years to be in a learnable format. This relies on the efforts of others, so this could change the world or could very easily go nowhere fast, much like most of the other engineered languages. Terwen is what one might call Esperanto 3.0, as Edo is 2.0. It gives you an intro to basic language, as well as an intro to all the major languages. I would love to see a day where a Lakota, Fulani, or Maori child must know only 2 languages to succeed in this world. their native language they can save and protect, and Terwen, which they can speak freely with to anyone else in the world, never having to learn the extremely complicated and nuanced languages of colonialism if they do not want to. This may be a silly idea, but it may be something others feel is a great idea as well. I'll never regret doing it. It was quite an eye-opening experience. And if not now, then someday in the future, someone else might pick it up, since it's now available. Thank you.